See, this is how they get you. I had no intentions in covering Batman Superman World's Finest. Now, it's not because I'm hating on Batman Superman. No, actually this channel was started on Batman Superman World's Finest. The ones back from, the early 2000s, but it was so started on Batman Superman. My intentions was only to cover the Justice League Unlimited. That's it. But because they're doing this crossover, if you want to know what's going on Justice League Unlimited, then you also have to read Batman Superman's World Finest. So that's what we're doing now. But we're only doing it for this crossover. Support the comic book industry by visiting your local LCS. My name is Dorian. This is SEM Comics. We are starting our coverage of Batman Superman World Finest. Can't believe I'm saying this. Number 38. Our story starts off over the skies of the African Congo Basin, where Hal Highball Jordan is flying Bruce Wayne's experimental spy plane and loving every minute of it. And Clark is doing his job, and he's interviewing Bruce about the whole situation, doing a press release for the Daily Planet. And Bruce is kind of peacocking. Like, it's pretty crazy. He's proud of himself. Like, he's patting himself on his millionaire back. And then Clark's like, so, do you think it was smart to let Hal fly your experimental plane? And Bruce is like, oh yeah, I have to trust him. Besides, if something happens, he could bust out his ring. And Superman's like, he doesn't take his ring with him when he goes flying because he feels like they'll take away from the thrill. Man, Bruce's face changes drastically. He's like, what do you mean? Superman's like, see what you miss when you leave them Justice League meetings early? If you'd stayed, you'd have found out about that. And just at that moment, Hal's flying and he's like, there's a problem. None of the instruments are responding to me. I can't pull up. Oh no, I gotta punch out. And that's exactly what he does right before a missile comes and the plane is going. And Bruce got the I just lost $50 million look on his face. And as Hal's parachuting down, all of a sudden he just disappears in thin air. So they're like, well, where'd he go? Like, we don't know where he's at, sir. All of a sudden, something comes on the screen. We see Hal. Somebody says pathetic and then throws him. And then all of a sudden, this gorilla looks at the camera and is like, we're about to exert our dominance. And we see it's Gorilla Grodd. And he's like, war on the human race. So a short time later, Superman and Flash are flying and running together. Superman's like, Gorilla City. He's like, yeah, I've known about it for a while. I mean, I didn't really want to tell anybody because they were pretty peaceful and they wanted to keep themselves a secret. So I didn't see any harm in it. They get to Batman's plane and Batman's like, you see the harm now? And Flash's like, I know. I'm trying to fix the situation now. They all grab arms and Flash vibrates them into Gorilla City. And as soon as they vibrate in, the Gorilla Welcoming Committee is waiting for them with laser rifles. And Flash is like, okay, should have expected this. So Superman and Flash look at each other with a smile, like, after you. And they start using their super speed to pretty much take all these gorillas out. The Flash takes Batman to try to find Gorilla Grodd because he's not there. Superman's like, go ahead, I can handle these gorillas. The one gorilla's like, oh, so you think you can handle us, huh? Well, we got a special surprise for you. And that surprise is Titanos. He's a space chimp who, when he went to space, he got bombarded by all this radiation. When he came back, he was huge and he had kryptonite vision, I guess you could say. And he's using it on Superman. So then we cut to the Flash. He's running across all these dead guards that I guess Grodd took out. He vibrates into a building and he sees Grodd sitting right there. So he runs at him. He runs right into a force field. So we cut to Batman. He takes out one of the gorilla guards and then he walks into the cell and Hal's like, it's about damn time. And if I'm Batman, I'd have been like, don't you owe me $50 million? But also in the cell with Hal is the king of Gorilla City. So the Flash radios into Batman and it's like, I found Grodd. He's just sitting there in his lab with this force field around him and he looks like sedated. And then Batman's like, hold on, time out. Why would Grodd announce to the world that he's ready to go to war and he's not prepared to go to war? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then he thinks to himself, like, oh no. So one gorilla hits a button and he tells Titano to go to sleep. Batman's running with Hal and the Gorilla King. And Batman's like, didn't you say that Gorilla Grodd has like telekinesis and he also has like mind swapping ability? And Flash is like, yeah, he does. And then Flash is like, oh God, no, he didn't. And he's like, I think he did. Sure enough, he possessed Superman. See, he used Titanos to weaken him. And once he was in that weakened state, Grodd got into his mind. And now he is Superman. And Gorilla Grodd wastes no time. There's a human army that somehow got into Gorilla City. They start shooting shells at Superman. I don't know how they know it's bad, but I guess they do. And Grodd's like, guess I gotta show them a lesson. Starts flying at them, but the Flash goes, grabs everybody off the tank, and then moves the tank out the way. And Gorilla Grodd's just like standing there and is like, you're fast, but I'm faster. So Batman, Hal, and the Gorilla King are fighting Grodd's forces. Super Grodd grabs the Flash and is like, this body's phenomenal, and the first victim of this body should be my oldest enemy. And that's you, Flash. He throws Flash into a tank, then he starts monologuing like all bad supervillains do, which gives Batman time to take control of Titanos and starts hitting Super Grodd with kryptonite vision. And even Hal's getting into it, shooting at him with his rifle when he's in this weakened state. And Grodd's like, you can do what you want to do, but I know one thing. You ain't going to kill me because you ain't going to kill Superman. So unless you're ready to do that, I'm going to do what I want and I'm getting the hell out of here. So all of a sudden the Gorilla King kicks Batman off and is like, he might not be willing to do it, but I am, because I know what dangers you are. And the Gorilla King just turns on the kryptonite vision. So Batman runs to the Flash and is like, look, you got to do something. You got to do whatever you can. And Flash like, there's only one thing that we can do. And Batman's like, do it. Flash like, it's a million to one shot. It's like, better than nothing. Do it. So Flash takes off. When they do the mind swap, now Superman is in Gorilla Grodd's body. Flash grabs the body of Gorilla Grodd, runs him at super speed, and then vibrates him at a high rate into Superman, which does a swap. Because out of nowhere, Gorilla Grodd turns around and is like, Flash, I will kill you. So Flash just starts spinning really fast and is like, Grodd, it's been a long day. Why don't you take a flight? And sends him flying. So all the bad gorillas are now being detained, including Titanos. The King is under the impression that maybe he can help Titanos turn them back to normal and get rid of his kryptonite vision. He's going to do what he can do to try to reverse it. He's not making any promises, but he's going to try to do what he can do for him. And then we cut to Gorilla Grodd, who's sitting in a cell, when all of a sudden he's visited by himself, his future self, who has the powers of the Martian Manhunter. And he's like, nah, this ain't going to go down like this. I need to change something. I need to change something right now. And he jumps into the past Gorilla Grodd. And then the next Justice League Unlimited issue, we're about to find out that all this craziness was thanks to Gorilla Grodd.